President Biden has ruled out direct involvement by American troops in the Middle East conflict, but overnight we learned an American naval ship, the USS Carney, has intercepted missiles fired from Yemen, possibly headed for Israel, according to the Navy. Meanwhile, there are more signs Israel may be gearing up for a massive ground invasion of Gaza. Imtiaz Tyab is in the West Bank city of Ramallah. Imtiaz, good morning.
Good morning. Well, here in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, protesters are continuing to show their anger at Israel's bombing campaign across Gaza as its ground invasion also looks increasingly imminent. But fears the conflict will widen is only growing after a U.S. Navy destroyer in the Red Sea intercepted cruise missiles and drones launched by Yemen's Houthi rebels, potentially aimed at Israel.
Tens of thousands of Israeli forces are massing along the border with Gaza as a senior Israeli military leader tells soldiers they would soon, quote, see Gaza from the inside. With a ground war appearing to be imminent, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with soldiers close to the front lines, asking if they were ready. Yeah! President Biden has pledged to secure a further $10 billion for Israel, which is already one of the largest recipients of U.S. military aid. But the president also warned the Israeli government not to be, quote, blinded by rage, recalling the mistakes the U.S. made following the 9/11 attacks. On the streets of Tel Aviv, Mr. Biden's speech was welcomed by Israelis.
We need support. I love the American support.
While in Ramallah, in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, which has been the scene of major protests and where Palestinian authorities say over 70 Palestinians have been killed in confrontations with Israeli forces and armed Jewish settlers since the Hamas attack, anger is only growing.
I'm angry, but what we can do, yani. So we just can pray for them to be safe.
We feel that President Biden is taking a one side. The ones who have the force, they have the power, they have the weapons, they have everything.
I feel like President Biden is just siding with Israel.
For sure, his speech tells that.
Israeli military leaders have not said when the ground invasion will begin or how long it will last. But fears the already enormous death toll across the narrow Palestinian territory will skyrocket are only growing. The Palestinian Ministry of Health says nearly 4,000 have been killed, including around 1,500 children. At this hospital in the southern city of Khan Yunis, a little girl cries out for her mother. A deal struck by President Biden between Israel and Egypt to allow 20 trucks of humanitarian aid into Gaza remains in limbo, as repairs to the southern border continue following repeated Israeli strikes. Israel has cut off all supplies of food, water, fuel, and electricity following Hamas's attack. The lack of the most basic necessities has made life even more of a misery for the over 2 million Palestinians who remain trapped in the spiraling violence.
Now this morning, a U.S. defense official confirmed to CBS News that a U.S. base near Baghdad has been targeted in a rocket attack amid reports other American bases in Iraq and Syria have also been repeatedly targeted by drones as fury over Israel's assault on Gaza continues to rage across the region, sparking fears the U.S. could be drawn into a wider, potentially even deadlier conflict. Vlad.
Imtiaz Tyab in Ramallah, thank you.